Hey, this is Seth with In Demand Career. I show people how to get jobs in digital marketing with no previous experience or education, and I show people how to level up their existing careers into even better ones. And that is the case with my very special guest today, Gelo. Yes, I believe short for Angelo, who was actually working at an agency, not making that much money. And he took my course and learned how to actually command a higher salary, how to change his resume and his LinkedIn, and is now making $53,000 a year, which is almost two times what he was making at his previous job. So his story is a little bit unique, and I'm very excited to share it with you. Thanks for being here, Jello.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So again, you were, again, I get people coming to me in this situation from time to time. You contacted me. You were already working at one of the agencies that some of my other students started at.
That's correct.
Like Andrew and Juan and I forget who else, but you were working at an agency and you told me you were making, how much were you making at the agency?
I think I was making around $30,000 a year.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I told a lot of people at that particular agency, this is a really great place to get a foot in the door initial experience, but it's almost like an internship that's very low
Mhm.
pay. You should be making more given what you're doing. You already had like 6 months experience managing accounts. Um, and so again, this is a little bit of a unique story. And why don't you just tell people, well, why don't you tell people what you're doing now, your current job?
Yeah. So I am currently at an agency that's based in Wisconsin right now. We are basically marketed as like a really high tier, high premium agency where we accept clients that are using something called like an EOS system, preferably, which is stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. So it's companies that already have some traction going, they have good relationships, and I love it here, man. The company structure is great. And we really have this attitude of, hey, man, we're looking for people to grow with, and we're not looking to be slaves to anybody. And we're just here to make money and have fun while doing it too, which is like the most important part, which is the reason why I just really appreciate taking the course, man, and just getting the opportunity and the skill set to actually get the job that I've been wanting.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. I'm so happy that you're happy at your job. You're making more money, you're remote. Um, so yeah, let's walk people through. So you got your first little foot, not little, but you got your first agency position. You actually, this is a really good example, guys, of the value of the course, because just like me, when I got my first agency job, I didn't take my course. Obviously, it didn't exist. You got your position through a lot of hard, like you did it the hard way, you said. How did you get that first position?
Yeah, I would love to talk about this. I feel like it took me probably 4 years to get my foot in the door into the agency that first hired me. I basically did everything from scratch. I would go to Barnes and Nobles. I would pick up the digital marketing books. I worked at a pizza job and I stepped down as assistant manager as a pizza delivery driver so I could listen to audiobooks, so I could listen to Seth Godin, Gary Vaynerchuk, get me in the mood. When I came home, I built my own website, did SEO, because since I don't have a college degree, I needed to have something on my resume to show someone. And after that, after many trials and errors, I kept pivoting. I kept switching to career books after career books, went to the point where I found out that networking was the key. And after my third attempt of entering this agency, someone finally gave me the shot because they saw how hungry and persistent I was. And that's how I got my foot in the door.
Cool. So I mean, 4 years versus like, all my other, testimonials of like, anywhere from 2 to 6 months. It's like,
Yeah.
it took me a year, guys. I've told you more about a year and a half of same thing, trial and error, trying to figure it out, which is why, again, some people say to me, or I've heard, most people don't say this, but I've heard people say, oh, you can just learn this stuff on YouTube. I was like, yeah. But having someone tell you exactly what to do is so valuable if you value your time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was happy to hear that you got the position. I remember, I don't remember if you reached out to me or if I reached out to you, but you were at Turnkey at that agency. And so tell us a little bit about what happened, like, when you got the course and what happened after that.
Yeah. So I actually heard from you from my other friends. Yeah, my other coworkers who took the course and just said nothing but great things about you. They told me that like, hey, I talked to Seth. He really thinks that we have the skill sets to get a better salary. I think I'm gonna follow this guy's advice, and I never put down knowledge. I always value that over everything, and I decided to hit you up. I just want to ask a few questions. I decided to buy the course because I always feel like, learning more about digital marketing, whether it's something that I probably already covered in the agency, but I really needed to review it again was a plus for me. And then as soon as I bought the course, I realized that I saw your course before. And it was during that 4-year journey of me trying to make it on my own, where I took these other courses, but these courses did not walk you through it. It was, for lack of a better words, like half-assed. It was more of like in that guru type of fad that was going on, where hey, we're going to teach you how to get digital marketing by making courses, and then to sell more courses of that to make courses, which
Uh,
was which really sucked, and which really like muddied the waters and made everything really foggy for me until I finally got back in track. And when I saw your course, I immediately had a bias of I'm not going to get burnt anymore. I don't want to do this. But when I was sifting through the curriculum, when I was sifting through all the modules and everything, I realized that this guy even has a roadmap. He has a roadmap of how you should go about this course, whether you want to go on the SEO side, if you want to go to the PPC side. This guy's not promising anything of like, hey, you're going to be rich tomorrow. It's no, like you're actually going to learn a valuable skill set. And then that's when like I literally, found out that like, man, I could have I could have sped my process of getting my first agency job, if I actually took this course. So I really felt like I missed this, but I'm just glad that like I had like a group of friends that introduced me to you again. And yeah, I took the course. A lot of the things in the course was great, valuable. It's you don't you don't talk like a professor at all. You talk like a person who I can sit down and have a coffee with, and that can be patient with me, which I appreciate. Like you have like a heart of a teacher. And the most valuable part for me as a person who wants to double my salary was the LinkedIn portion, where you're helping me navigate through how do I look at these job postings, how do I build these resumes, how do I create these cover letters, how should I start networking. You even provided videos on like, hey man, like you got to get used to like hearing no, and like that was the best part.
yeah. And I'm happy to hear that, man. And I'm happy. And you said you really enjoyed the community as well.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, the community is definitely something that definitely needs to be talked about. I Working at that pizza job, I was the only person that really believed in myself. A lot of people were just like, oh, like this guy, I think he's trying to make a money with a blog. Like I'm not sure, but like he's fun to hang around with. So we're, he's a cool guy. But I always wanted to be I wanted to be surrounded by people like marketers, that somebody I can talk to, talk about Seth Godin, talk about, like Gary Vaynerchuk, talk about the future, talk like I didn't want to just be a pizza guy for the rest of my life. And when I got into my first agency position, I really, really wanted to take initiative. Like I want to be surrounded by like-minded people. And although I found that at my agency job, it was amplified with this course. Like I didn't need to be in an agency to already be surrounded by these like-minded people. And it was people like Rolando, for instance, who is a great guy. I love him. And he helped me out, even though he was on SEO and I'm doing PPC. He really just sat me down. I talked to him like how I got to where I am. He told me how he got to where he'd be. We talked about Seth. And he constantly hits me up. He's just like, hey man, here's a great resource on PPC, and then all of a sudden I see newcomers and they add me through LinkedIn, and I always let them know. I'm like, hey, is there anything I can do to help you? Is there any concepts that you saw in the course that you need help with? Because I feel like we should pass it around. The person that's listening to this right now, they're struggling because they're trying to get their foot in the door. And I know how that feels. And I know so many other students in this course knows how that feels. And you should feel relieved that you're going to be in good arms. Like, you're going to have good support when you enter this place. So yeah, definitely great place.
I was really happy to hear that, man. I mean, that's we focus on the money, but I mean, having a community, and it's really exploded this year with the Facebook group. I just got a message.
Yeah.
I was blown away. I literally just got a message from a student of mine who she just got an agency job making 50K, and it's her first job. And she told me that Kayla, one of my alumni, spent hours on a Zoom call with her the night before the interview. And I'm just like, that's amazing. I didn't tell Kayla to do that. I didn't pay her to do that. And it's just, she just, just that community and the value of having people around you that are doing the same thing. It is so important because the general attitude out there now is still pretty negative and people don't understand this field, and you're going to get a lot of pushback. And you say, hey guys, I'm going to learn digital marketing from this online course. They're like, oh, that's stupid. Why don't you go get a communications degree and go in debt? That's what I'd recommend. And, you need to be around people who are thinking the same way. So that's awesome. So I'm really happy that and then it sounds like you were telling me the LinkedIn and the resume, all that training helps you start to get interviews at agencies and whatnot.
Absolutely. I feel like before I had this course, I was definitely piecing things together as I went. I felt like I jumped off a cliff and I was trying to build my own parachute. With this course, I have a blueprint. I already have a step-by-step guide. And honestly, like all you need to do now is just to work, which thankfully for the past 4 years, that's what I'm really good at. So now with this combined with the blueprint, I got this. I started getting offers. I started getting interviews. I was able to call my parents being like, yep, I got my whole week booked, So after I clock out, I have all of these interviews that I get to go to. And now I feel like I'm just cherry picking.
Yeah, man. No, I get emails from people who are, most people are looking to get into digital marketing, but occasionally I'll get people like you who are in the field or have some marketing experience and they just don't know how to level up. And I say, look, even if you have PPC experience, you're going to benefit from, the course is like 4 courses in one. I'm charging, the resume and LinkedIn stuff, not just that, but the feedback I give you, you have to understand that there are career coaches out there who will charge you $1,000 for consultations, for a one-time resume overhaul or a couple hours of consulting or an hour of consulting. And when you do the course, you get this ongoing, I want you to be successful. And I'm happy to hear, because I saw you, I remember you messaging me. I looked at what you were doing, or you told me you were doing, where you were managing. I said, dude, you got to be making more than what you're making. And I will say about that agency, I've mentioned them before, Turnkey. I think, again, it's a great place to get your first 6 months of experience, and then you got to move on. They actually messaged me. I'm not going to get too specific, but I think somebody there messaged me. It was like, well, how can we retain people better? Or we help us with talent acquisition. I said, you just got to pay people. In California, especially if people living in California,
totally,
you gotta pay them more. There are some, again, guys, you've seen so many success stories. There are so many great agencies with great culture and the good pay, but there are still some places that will underpay. And if you're being underpaid, wherever you're working in whatever field you're working in, even if you're not in digital marketing, I always encourage you to continue to interview and continue to push. Don't be afraid, especially in general. Now it's a workers market. Employers can't find workers for a lot of jobs. So it's good practice to, shoot for something higher. But I'm just really happy you were able to, get value and get so many connections. And so, there's so many aspects of the course that are valuable. I know I focus on the salary, but also the community is just so valuable. So is there anything else you wanted to say about that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I do feel like, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to get into digital marketing because of how great the salary, the opportunities out here to just, make more than like I said, like a delivery driver. And that's really great. And I just feel like something that sort of gets put in the back burner sometimes is the lack of community, man. Like I do feel like it's really important to be surrounded by people who are striving to be professionals just like you, because knock on wood, something does happen, your employer decides to part ways with you, you have other opportunities out there, you're going to have people around you, like you said, people who like me who are trying to level up, who are trying to get a salary. We're not trying to get a salary, just to get a salary. Is that we also want the skill sets to be part of that. We also want to be competent. That's the reason why I've been working so hard on my own for the past 4 years. And I just feel like my growth has accelerated recently. But I feel like it's because of the guidance that I got from, the mentors that I've adopted in this course. Seth is great presenting all of this information, but what really 10x my learning was the people who are already above me. Like I feel like I'm standing on the shoulders of giants.
That's very kind, man. And it's true. I mean, I'm blown away by what my students have done with their careers. And I'm really blown away by the generosity, like Rolando, you mentioned. He's,
Yeah.
I interviewed him like a year ago, and he's gone on to make a lot more money, and also
Yeah.
contributes in the Facebook group. And there's a lot of alumni I don't even know about until, I sent out an email recently to like my whole list, and I heard from all these people like, oh yeah, I got a job like 2 years ago. Thanks. And I was like, who are you? I've never heard from you.
Yeah.
So that's a really important aspect, man. The community, the connections. And what you're saying is, yeah, like if you for some reason decide to leave your job, people at other
Yeah.
agencies. And that's the thing, when you know other people at other agencies, it's great. It's like, oh, dude, I need I'm looking for a new position. Oh,
Exactly.
I have an opening at my agency.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
it's a really wonderful world, and I'm really happy to have helped you and helped create this community.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. I just did another interview, so my brain's a little fried, but I'm trying to remember what else I was going to ask you. I think we've covered pretty much everything. You were a pizza delivery guy before you got into this field, and now you're like, honestly, dude. I mean, I think it's awesome. You're at 53K. Within 6 months to a year, you should be getting a raise, or you should even look for another position.
Absolutely. That's the
But it
goal.
sounds like you really enjoy the culture where you're working, so that's very important too.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like that definitely does about cover it. Yeah. Unless you have any other questions for me.
No, just if there's anything else you want to say to anyone watching the interview.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Like I guess what I want to say to the person that's listening to this is one of the main reasons why people listen to these is because they're looking for hope. It's because they constantly got rejected, or they have this imposter syndrome, or they're paralyzed where like, hey, what should I do? How do I do this? Like, is this guy going to be the right person for me? Is this going to be my golden ticket? And I'd like to talk to that person specifically. And I just want to say that this course right here is not going to make you a millionaire. This course is going to assist you. It's going to give you the tool set to become the person that you want to become. Like this course isn't meant to give you everything all at once tomorrow. This is a toolbox. And if you're really willing to put in the work, and if I know that does sound intimidating, I was like, oh my God, like, can I even do that work? Yes, you can. Absolutely. There's so many people out there that get scared by putting in the work, quote unquote. That's the reason why we have this community. I know that I was scared when I heard that. And I know other people in this course were scared of that as well. But we can help you, just reach out. There's a forum inside the course. And I just wish you luck, like whoever's needing to hear that.
That's great, man. I get the spirit behind what you're saying, and it's true. I mean, that's one of the big difference. Like, I'm glad you said that because I do think what separates this course from other courses is the expectations and the results.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of these courses, like you mentioned, the hype. There's a lot of hype
Yeah.
about making a ton of money really quickly, and that's not going to happen. But if you put in 6 months, you can
Yeah.
get a great salary, and then you can leverage that into 53K, 60K or more within a year. And
Yeah.
you do have to work your butt off. Like, you have to learn these skills, you have to provide value. And that's for anybody, whatever field you're in. You just have to provide value.
Absolutely.
I mean, so many people get fixated on their own needs. It's like, dude, if you can help a company increase their bottom line, get more leads, that's why they pay you.
Yeah.
When I learned that, it was awesome. I was like, oh, this is it. I could just help you. And I enjoy doing it because I like the work. I like the digital marketing. But yeah, that's why my community is so amazing too. Because I don't hype it up, and it attracts really hardworking people who want to make a change in their life and don't have the tools and haven't been given the guidance in the school system, because they've been told to just get a degree or things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, I really appreciate you sharing yourself and sharing your enthusiasm with people. And it sounds to me like you'd be cool with people reaching out to you on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Come out, talk to me.
Sounds like it. Yeah, guys, I'll put his LinkedIn link in the video description. Thanks for being here, Gelo. I love the name. Thanks for sharing your story, man. We'll be in touch, and we'll talk soon.
Sweet. Sounds good, man. Thank you so much.